everyone, and welcome to this episode of Salima Speaks. You know, honestly, I try to talk to people and tell you things that happen in my life, and maybe it'll help you in your life. Like the other day, I was walking down the street, and actually, I saw a girl that was like kind of dragging her child behind her. And I said something to her. I said, "Excuse me." She was like on her cell phone, and the baby was like walking me behind her. And I said, "Excuse me." I said, "You know, somebody could walk up and grab your baby." And I've done that before. You know, I can't mind my business when it comes to children. And she did say a few words to me, and I told her, and I lied. I said, well, I used to be a social worker years ago, but I told her I was a social worker, and I said that I'll call Child Protective Services. Then she calmed down a little bit, and I said, you know, you just want to keep your baby safe. Because she was getting ready to walk into the street, and it's almost like she forgot about the baby, because the baby was going to walk in the street behind her. So she stopped, and she paused, and I think because I said I was a social worker or something, she kind of acted a little bit different. But just that instance, maybe something in her changed. You know, when we see stuff like that, we're afraid to say anything because of that. Because like I said, I've been cursed out before. I've had one girl that wanted to fight me before, you know, trying to run down the street after me. So, but because we're so on edge nowadays, you know, back in the day, if somebody would say something, an older woman would say something to a younger woman, she might say, listen, she might thank you even. But nowadays, it's like everybody's on edge. It's like, what'd you say? You know, we have to calm that stuff down. We have to honestly understand that we don't have to be on edge all the time. We can calm down. And you know, what's a good thing? Everybody needs to, like, back in the day, meditation was like, for gurus, whatever. But everybody needs to try. If it's no more than 10 minutes, just have 10 minutes of no social media. No, if you do it longer, fine, but just try it. Start it with 10 minutes. No phone, no social media, nothing like that. Just you and the universe, karma, God, Buddha, whatever you want to say, that, you know, just the forces of the universe. Just calm yourself and just be alone and peaceful, in a peaceful state. And that may help you from being on edge all the time, always on edge, always, what do you say, what is it, waiting for somebody to attack you. Just calm down, people. Just bring it down a little bit, okay? And today I have a friend that I call her my friend. I met on Facebook, and Miss Anita Boswell. She goes by Freckles Rose on Facebook. But her name is Anita, and she has a very interesting story. She's going to talk about drug addiction, and the thing is, a lot of people don't understand about drug addiction. I didn't understand, because thank God I was never on drugs or anything like that. You know, we all have vices. We all have food. You know, I'm a food addict. I love food. You know, I try to calm that down because now I do intermittent fasting, where I don't eat all day. I stop eating like 8 o'clock at night. I don't eat anymore until 4. And I've lost weight with that. I've lost weight doing that. So try it. 1 meal a day. I'm telling you, if you try it, you know, the thing, I'm going to tell you real quick, one thing about 1 meal a day, I don't eat until 4 o'clock. So I'm eating between 4 and 8. So you're not going to eat as much in that 4-hour time period as you would all day. I don't snack during the day. I don't eat during the day. I wait until 4 o'clock. Now, I really have to be careful because sometimes I may go a little overboard. But once you do that for a longer, I'll say even for a couple of weeks, my stomach is shrinking. So now when I do, like, it's called intermittent fasting. So when I do break my fast after not eating from 8 o'clock at night till 4 o'clock in the afternoon, when I do eat, I don't want as much. And I can't eat as much because my stomach has shrunk. So try it, you know, honestly. But anyway, back to Miss Anita, you know, she has had a bout with drugs. And when we look at people that are on drugs, we don't look at people like us, at ourselves. Where it's like somebody dirty hanging on the street or they're bad people, whatever. But the thing is, I wanted to have her on here because she's overcome that. And here's beautiful Miss Anita. How are you?
Hi, Salima. How are you?
I'm great. It's such a pleasure to have you here.
It's a pleasure to be here.
And you know, honestly, people have a preconceived notion of people that had problems in their life. So tell me a little bit about yourself. Where are you from originally?
I'm originally from Camden. My father packed me and my mother up to move here to Philly so she could be closer to her family.
Okay.
But the main reason for moving was because that's where they built the Betsy Ross, I think, highway or bridge, something like that.
Okay.
So we had to relocate.
Oh, really? So everybody in your
Yes,
neighborhood had to relocate because of that?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Honestly, I wished we had stayed there because once coming to Philly, um, it was good in the beginning. I was like 3 to 4 years old, but by the time I got to be 5 years old, there were so many things going on in my life that I could have done without, so to speak. you know.
Okay.
I can
Now, when you moved to Philadelphia, where did you move in Philadelphia?
North Philadelphia.
Okay.
North Philadelphia, 13th and Allegheny.
Okay.
My father actually looked at like 3 houses. Two of them were big, 3-story houses on Allegheny Avenue, and my mother thought that they were too big. The strangest thing is I had a room of my own at 3 years old living in Camden, but now we come here to Philly. She wanted to move in this duplex and have the apartment. And now I don't have a room. Okay, so yeah,
So you have brothers and sisters?
Not living with me. There's a long story.
No, I mean,
about
back then when you moved here, was it just you?
Just me, because
Okay.
my biological great aunt is who raised me, not my biological mother.
Okay, now I was talking about addictions and so how old were you when you first started experimenting with drugs?
Drugs is down the line, but alcohol, actually at the age of 5.
No.
I
are you
had
serious?
an uncle. I had an uncle who was like a big kid, and I loved my uncle to death. But my uncle used to make me eat a pinch of Philly's tobacco and drink a shot of vodka behind it at the age of 5.
No, are you serious?
I'm very serious. Very serious.
I can't even drink vodka now. I mean, maybe 20 years ago,
I
I
don't
remember
like
taking
vodka.
a sip and it burned my throat so bad. I hate alcohol. So at 5 years old, how did you even drink it?
I don't know.
And back in the day, little uncles come in town. People used to do it. People used to give kids beer. Of course, not us, because my dad would have killed somebody.
Yeah.
But you see people do that, with children. Let them take a sip of alcohol, and they think it's cute. But it's not.
Well, it definitely wasn't cute.
So that was kind of forced on you. So when did you start drinking, like, on your own?
Yes. I can say between the ages of like 7 and 11, because they lived on the 3rd floor. Yes, 7 and 11 years old. My uncle lived on the 3rd floor at my great-grandmother's house. So the summertime, I basically spent the summer there, and the weekends I was always there. He had a bunch of comic books and stuff like that, but his old lady drank too. They were 2 alcoholics.
Okay, so they let you drink with them?
Abundance of beer. We used to actually walk around with like a Nike sneaker bag, which you got your mirror in it, a razor blade, all of the equipment. Yeah,
Wait a minute.
A box of matches in order to cook your
Really?
stuff. Yes,
Okay.
yes. And I think my daughter's father, which his mother is the one that introduced me, he used to smoke angel dust. But then he started smoking
Now,
this.
what is angel dust?
I call them parsley leaves with embalming fluid.
Now, I've heard about that. So that's as they take.
I don't know how they make it, but that was his drug of
Wow.
choice. And and it was a long time before I knew he
nobody
did it.
understands what this does to your brain.
Yes.
Nobody is like, your brain was not even developed when people start giving you alcohol, which has effect on the brain.
Yes.
Drugs, and as a teenager, it has
Yes.
an effect on the brain. And nobody understands that. Why don't people understand that they're destroying these people's brain? You came out. A lot of people didn't.
Yeah, but I've been, Salima, I got to be honest, honey. As I said, with the carrying the equipment around, and my daughter's father, he seen me one day with the bag. He was on somebody else's porch. They get ready to get high or whatever. And he said, "Look at you, you're hooked." And I turned around and I gave him this look like,
Now,
what?
because you had a bag, he knew
Yeah,
you were
but
hooked?
he knows that I got my pipe in there. I have all of my equipment
so you
to
would
get
carry the
high.
pipe around with
Yeah,
you.
everybody did. Anybody you seen, there's no sneaker box in there. You see somebody with a Nike bag with the drawstring on it?
I never knew that. Are you serious?
Basically, that's what was in there.
Wow. Oh
Yes,
my
basically, that's
goodness.
what was inside of these bags at that in
Wow.
that
I
time.
never knew that.
So, after he did that to me that day, he said that to me, I when I walked away from him, I took the bag and slung it over like it's like an electric plant right at like Sedgley and Allegheny, Sedgley in Germantown.
Now, why did you do that?
Because he said that I was hooked.
So you didn't want to be hooked.
And I didn't want to be hooked.
Okay.
So then I found out something about meetings and stuff. So I started going to meetings. But now.
Okay, so at that time you were hooked?
Yeah, I can say that I was because I'm walking around with this equipment.
So how were you getting your drugs? People just giving to you?
I had
you
access to
them?
money.
Okay.
I had access to money.
Okay.
It took some time down the line, before I started to do other things. I can honestly say I've never introduced anybody to this drug. Thank the Lord, because I think it's the worst thing you could do to a person.
Right.
I've never sold my furniture, my kids, or you understand what I'm saying?
And so you're saying that the people that were around you, you were happy to be around them because they were giving you drugs, but they were hurting you.
I was happy to be around them because it was company. I was always my mother and father sheltered me from everything in the world. Okay, let's say we're looking at TV, and way back then, they wore granny gowns and nightcaps to bed. So if on the Waltons, if Mr. and Mr. Walton got in the bed, I had to leave the room.
Okay.
That kind of overprotected.
I'm trying to understand. So you're saying they protected you, but when you were a teenager, how did you have access to this stuff?
It started, as I said,
I mean, with
my
so
daughter's grandmother.
Your parents, of course, didn't know that.
No.
Okay.
No, they had no clue. They had no clue. My father probably would have killed her grandmother.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
That he was overprotective of me more. So my mother was overprotective of me. My mother that raised me was overprotective of me in the sense of she never had any children of her own. Okay, so I am related to her through blood, supposedly.
Right.
I'm not sure.
So your dad didn't know that you were doing his drugs. So when do you think it became a problem for you? And also, have you ever been to rehab, or did you ever go to rehab?
Yes, indeed, Salima. I've been to at least 3 or 4, if not more.
Now,
rehabs.
were they did you stay there at the rehabs?
Yes.
Okay. Now, do you think that the rehabs helped you?
Yes and no. Okay. And I say no because in anything in life, it's mind over matter. They can give you the tools that you need to recondition your mind. I like to get high. Okay, this is the number one thing that I say people need to really accept about yourself.
And be honest about it.
Yes, you like to get high.
Right.
It's something about whatever you choose as your drug of choice, the alcohol, the weed, or whatever. You like it. That's why you continue to do it. Once we start consuming something on a daily basis, we become addicted to it.
Right.
I don't care if it's just sniffing roses.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So
but sniffing roses aren't going to hurt your brain.
Yeah, well, I mean, just saying, as far as an addiction is concerned. So naturally, yes, I was addicted, but the addiction is more so the fact that you like to get high. This is for me. I can't speak for the next addict, okay? But for me, I liked to get high.
So what do you think was the turning point, the thing that said, I like to get high, but I'm not going to do it anymore? What do you think was the turning point?
This time here around Salima for me, honestly, is getting to know myself and accepting who I am. Okay. Like I said, I had to fight. Women fought me all my life. Okay, I would run home from school. And I wasn't a fighter.
So how did you get to the point where you decided that I'm just not going to do this anymore?
Because I lost my house. My old man, we were together 6 years, and he died of cancer. I lost my home. I literally almost lost my mind.
Now, when you were with him, were you getting high together?
No, he didn't get high. When I met him, I was getting high. He took me from where I was, and I was living in a room, getting high. He took me from where I was and put me inside of the house that I told you about with the floor closure. And I just put everything down, the alcohol, just try long story, just put
So
it down.
you were able to just stop cold turkey?
Without going to rehab or anything. So I
Now,
picked
how were
back
you
up.
able to do that?
Mind over matter. That's the only thing I can say at that point. On top of the fact, this was a good man.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, I am a person that had held on to every bad thing that has happened to me in my life. So it was the crutch.
Right.
And these are the things that we use as excuses to get high. Like we're medicating these pains, and we're
Right.
not. It's just taking your focus. You're not medicating
And
the
so
pain.
many
It's just
people
taking your
think that.
focus off of what you really focus on all the time.
Now you said that he passed away. Now, after he passed away, did you start getting high again?
Oh boy, did I ever! That's how I lost my house.
Okay.
You know.
Now, was
not
that
proud to
because
say.
you were in pain,
I
or because you wanted to have a pleasurable experience, or
No, I was in great pain.
Okay.
I still carry a lot of guilt because I think it's me pressuring him into having the surgery. They found a mass in his bladder, so they took the mass out and gave him a bag. He did well for a while, and they came down to a point, maybe like a month and a half. Then he started getting skinny all over again. So I took him back to the hospital. They did a scan and an MRI and found out that he had cancer of his whole stomach lining that was eating onto his liver.
I'm sorry to hear that.
They told him that he had 6 months to live, and he lived all of 2 weeks. All of 2 weeks. He died 2 days after my birthday,
Oh, I'm
April
sorry
the
to hear
29th,
that.
2015.
I'm sorry to hear.
And
So
I literally
think,
lost my mind.
So after that, you say you lost your mind. So then you started smoking crack again.
Yes.
Now-
Started smoking, drinking. I can't even picture where I got sleep. And mind you, and in the midst of all of this, I'm taking care of my mother. I got her up and out to go to the center. You know what I'm saying?
So you were still, and this is what I hear. So you were a functioning addict. So because after your old man died, and you started taking it again,
but
you were
I took it
still
to
functioning.
a level where, let me tell you, I had like 3 dealers that I dealt with.
Okay.
And I mean, I could get credit. I remember one time owing one guy like $1,200. Yeah.
And people let you do that?
Well, that's who I was. I don't know what
Okay.
they do with somebody else. I don't
Right.
think so. You know what I mean? But I'm a good paymaster. I pay my tab because I know that I'm gonna want.
So now after that, how long was it before you decided? Now when you started again,
That was
did you get
2015.
totally hooked again?
Oh yes.
Okay.
Oh yes. Totally hooked.
So
Totally
now,
hooked, totally
now
depressed.
did you after that from 2015? Did you go back into rehab?
No.
So you just did it on your own.
Yes.
So what? How did you do it on your own? What made you say I can do this and I'm going to do it? What made you? What was the point where you knew that you had to stop and you could do it?
My mother's 96. I've lost my house. I'm now living in a friend's house. So that's like being underneath somebody else's rules and regulations. I don't like that.
But you're clean now.
Yes. I've been clean 10 months. The 27th of last month would make 10 months that
Oh,
I've
good for
actually
you.
been clean.
So did you go from 2015 until what 10 months ago, doing drugs again?
Yes, honestly. And like I said, I love beer. I mean, you couldn't see me without a can of beer with a straw in it.
So now when you like get off of doing drugs and everything, so you can't even drink beer anymore or do any. You can't do any drugs.
I begged God to take the taste and the desires away from me.
Okay.
And that's the only answer that I have, because if it were me, well, I would have a beer right here in this session. Okay, if it were me, you know. But I asked him to just give me another life.
So that's what I'm saying. So when you give up drugs, you have to give up everything. So
Yes.
if you had a beer, would that lead you to wanting to
That's
do
what
crack
they
again?
say.
And that's what I'm
That's
trying
what
to figure out.
the NA way would tell you.
Yeah,
I
so you
don't.
can't
I
do
tend to
anything.
not agree with that. Let me tell you. I remember when I was going to meetings, and they used to glamorize the drugs so. When I come out of the meeting, the first thing I want to do is get high. You know what I'm saying?
Wow,
So I'm like, this is the, you know, and then the people in there talking about they sold a VCR, they sold all their food. What are you talking about? I don't belong in here.
Okay.
You know, I didn't feel like I was what they are, what you call an addict.
So if you did have a beer, like, do you think that would make you start smoking crack again?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Not at all, because you know.
But just in case, you just refrain from everything.
I leave it where it's at.
Okay.
And we ain't gonna rekindle no old fires. Okay. We gonna leave that over there.
Okay.
You know, but rehabs. Let me see. I've been to at least 5 rehabs, at least 2 outpatient rehabilitations.
So now, do rehabs, do they work? What do you think? Because I know they work for some and some they don't. Why do you think they work for you?
Rehab doesn't work for anyone. It's what you use. If you apply the tools that they give you
but what I'm saying, all right, so they do give you some tools to use.
The best thing that they've ever told anybody inside of a rehab, stay away from people, places, and things. That's it.
Okay.
That's no.
So now when you
that's
say
mind
people,
over matter. The drug doesn't chase you.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? You're not gonna walk out the door and the drug is gonna drop down in you or pipe and all that. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
You have to go where it is in order to get high.
Okay.
And like I said, it's your own desire because you like to get high.
Okay.
If you didn't like it, you wouldn't do it.
You do exactly.
Exactly. I mean, it's like, you know, if you walk outside and step in poop, you don't like poop on your shoe. Okay, so now you know every time you walk past that spot, you're gonna look down to make sure there's no poop there. Correct?
Right.
All right. Same difference. That's my logic.
So, but I'm saying, in the rehab, you did learn some tools that you might not have learned had you not gone to the rehab. So would you recommend somebody that's even watching now that's having a problem, would you recommend the first step for them would be to try to find a rehab?
Yes, I would.
Okay.
Yes, I would. Especially someone that has been out there and has been a chronic user of a drug.
Okay.
Okay, you know, to support. Because, how can I put this? There's a lot of support that you get, a lot of tools that you get that were good for your survival and for successful recovery in being an addict.
Right.
You only get out of it what you put in there. But you got to, people need to learn to be totally honest. Like I say, most people say, oh, I got high because my grandmom died. No, you did. You got high because you wanted to get high.
Okay.
You like to get high and you wanted to get high. You wanted to get high before your grandmom died. You just using that as an excuse to go ahead and do what you wanted to do all along.
But you don't think that could be a valid excuse like you did when you lost your partner and you were hurting?
But see, I was already dipping and dabbing. You understand what I'm saying? I was already dipping and dabbing. So once he died, I just unleashed the devil in me.
Because you had no reason.
Exactly. You know what I mean? And not only that, no one needs to try to recover from addiction for someone else.
Wow.
If you're not doing it for self, continue to do what you do, so to speak. Don't do it for someone else because in most cases it does not work.
Okay.
You know, it's the frame of mind. The mindset, it means a lot in any and everything in life as far as I can see, my experience. So if you're not honest with yourself, you know what I'm saying? Like if you're going into recovery, you can't be worrying about what somebody else thinks. Look, people thought worse of you when you were out there in the street. You understand what I'm saying? So you got to leave the negative thoughts of what somebody else is thinking about you to the side. Focus totally on you.
And you know, honestly, that's so true that you have, because so many people do things out of peer pressure.
Yeah.
You know, their friends are doing it and they want to do it.
Yes.
You know, and I guess that's what you mean when you say people, places, and things, because you can't deal with people that are still doing the same things because then you'll want to do it. Okay.
Because, like I say, you know, and I will tell anybody, I think there's a group that I belong to on Facebook that's for, what is it called? I can't even think of it. The SHIP.
The SHIP?
Yeah. Okay, that's all about recovering addicts.
Oh, really?
So, yes. So you have some people that next time they have an invite and you pop up there, I'll invite you so you can get a feel of what's going on. You have people that ask certain questions or people have different beliefs. I mean, you know, it's debatable. But for the most part, there's food for the addict that's trying to stay clean.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And it's all positive. There's a lot of spirituality that's involved in it. You know, you have to change your spirit as well when you're trying to recover. That's what I believe. A lot of people may not believe that. Some people believe you have to go by the basic textbook of Narcotics Anonymous, the 12 steps.
Right.
I couldn't tell you step 1 from step 5. You know what I mean? And I've had a basic text, but I don't know anything about that. I just know that that's not what I want for me anymore, and I still like to get high.
Okay.
But that's not for me anymore. It doesn't give me anything.
It doesn't
the
give
drug
you
is number one, and then here again, the drug is not what it used to be.
Okay.
Okay, it's some man-made thing, because back when I first started, like I said, $20 worth of it came back as big as the sulfur head on 2 matchstems. 6 people could get high for a couple of hours.
Wow.
If I took that 20 out of $1,000, that would be all that was spent, and you can go on and do what you wanted to do. But now you still lusting, trying to find that high with this man-made thing. You just spend up all your money.
So you're saying that you could do $20 worth and that would be it?
That's what it was back in freebase days.
So do you think that...
It's a difference in the product that they call the same.
Because I hear people saying that they spent everything they had, so that wasn't you?
I can spend every dime, but I'm not going to sell my clothes and my, you know what I'm saying? I never got into that. My mother basically raised my son for me. Okay, until
now, was that because of your addiction?
Yeah, because I'm gone. I mean, I got his hair cut, I bought his clothes, I took him to school, I helped him with his homework, the food stamps, I bought the food to put in the house, but I just wasn't there.
But you were a functioning addict. You can still function.
Call it functioning if you want to. No, I don't call it functioning.
If you're doing all that for your child, you know, that's functioning.
Yeah, well, see, it's not functioning because the parent needs to be present in the house at all times and live there. And I'm not working but that was my job, to get high.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? But it's not a conducive job. It's not bringing anything to the table.
Now, did you have a job?
Back and forth, yeah. I've had jobs in my time, but in my years of addiction back and forth, I can honestly say no.
Okay, so how were you getting money?
Welfare, food stamps, friends, you know.
Oh, so friends would give you.
Thank God for mothers who had sons, things of that sort.
Okay.
And like I've had some bad experiences trying to make money.
Okay.
But God really blessed me with meeting guys most of the time that actually became my friends. I had to listen to lectures about me who gets high. Well, you seem like an intelligent person. You're nice looking.
So you did deal with people that were not drug addicts.
Yes. Oh, yes. Okay. Oh, and I've not been in a relationship with anybody that does drugs. Somebody's got to bring in some money somewhere.
Right. So you were smart enough to know that.
You know, that's just my logic. I don't know that it means anything, but it worked for me. Okay.
You know, I thank you so much for coming on the show. I thank you so much for your honesty.
Yes.
You know, and people need to hear that you are a recovering addict. And when I say that, what does that make you feel like? What is that?
It makes me feel like I have accomplished something that means something to me, as well as my family. Like my daughter is the worst. She had the meanest of attitude toward me, and now I have her back in my life the way that a mother and daughter is supposed to be. You know, she's there for me. I'm there for her. Great. I'm able to I would never
That's so great. Your story is such an inspiring story.
Never
thank you so much for your story, and thank you so much for being on the show. And thank you for being my friend. You know, we met on Facebook. And Facebook, you know, you meet some really good people on Facebook.
Yeah.
And thank you guys for tuning to this edition of Salima Speaks. I hope you learned something. You know, be honest with yourself, and you're not a bad person because you have an addiction. You know. Thank you so much.
Bye bye. Bye bye.